Hey, Felipe, thank you so much for joining this.
Hey, Misbah, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it is quite exciting. So, as soon as I heard that you built a cursor within Langflow, I was super curious and super excited for this session. So, I'm excited to see how the flow works, how you built it, the whole thought process, and yeah, we'll test it as well, and let's see how that goes.
Oh, let's go. I wasn't so hopeful for good results. I was just experimenting, like to find like what were the limits to length flow, and it turns out I went so much far than I thought I would.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is amazing. I mean, I got a little sneak peek earlier, I think, where you showed how some of the app building work, and it was just amazing. So, super excited. Yeah. So, and for folks who are probably new to both of us, so we both work with the Langflow team on different aspects, and my name is Misbah Sayed. I've been working with the DevRel side, helping showcase the potential and what could be built with Langflow. And Felipe, maybe a quick intro. Actually, we should have done that before.
Oh yeah, well, I have been around Langflow since probably a month after the repo was launched, and like
Oh,
I never left its side. And from there, like just we actually take care of the QA work. So doing test to length flow is basically our day to day. That's one of the reasons we do these kinds of experiments.
awesome. Yeah, and Felipe is one of the most active builder in the Langflow community. Oh, we've got someone else as well.
Yeah, we do.
Awesome. All right. So, Felipe, I am going to start sharing my screen and we are going to walk through. Felipe built these flows and he was kind enough to share it with me to run, and we're going to run it my end. So, it's just basically as if someone else were to get the flow. He's just going to walk us through how to run it and how different parts of it are working. So let's do that. I'm going to quickly share this. All right, so this is the first flow that you shared. So we're going to come to the cursor one. Before that, we want to cover this for anyone who's starting first time. Just quickly, this is the Langflow UI. So this is the canvas, is the workspace where you can actually drag and drop components. So everything you see on the left side, these are components. There are some chat output, input options if you want to start or end the flow. And you might have seen this before, especially people who are in the community building different things. Other than that, there are all of these prompts, models, and different components available. So feel free to test these out. It's quite a lot of available built-in options. But then also there are bundles. So these are community components. So you can see components from LangChain or maybe NVIDIA. Feel free to try those as well. And from that, what we're doing is right now, what I'm seeing, Felipe, here is that we are using the assembly AI component. And I see that we have the start transcript and then a few other things, right? So how about maybe Felipe walk us through what's happening here and how can we run this and what actually this flow does?
All right. So this is basically an agent to process meeting transcripts and transform into meeting notes. Well, most of us at some point already experimented with this technique of getting transcript into notes, etc. And it's funny that even nowadays, I end up finding different and creative ways of processing like this. This time, I came up with this idea since the launch of the GPT 4.1. I got a lot more agentic in terms of it's easier to follow instructions to keep looping upon itself. And then I thought, what if I get it to read a meeting transcript bit by bit and start writing a document and update it as it goes? And how would the result in comparison with the larger model? Like, I usually get better performance with zero shot in this with reasoning models. It's a few dollars per run, etc. So
Mhm.
this ended up being a really performatic solution that really low cost at the GPT 4.1. And so the first part We basically using the assembly transcription service to convert the original audio into a text, and we're saving it to an actual file without the diarization pre-made by the assembly service.
Mm-hmm.
And then from that file, we use the agent with the new file manipulation component that is probably gonna be available Langflow within the next release or so.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that basically allows an agent to manipulate the files on your computer or wherever Langflow is running.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what we're gonna do here. We're gonna hook up the agent with that tool and ask it to go around the transcription file and iterate over it and generate a juicy meeting notes for us.
Wow, this is quite powerful. I'm actually looking forward to using this component because I think this was something I wanted to try. So just manipulation of files. So yeah, let's give it a shot. So what I did, Felipe, is I just ran this once just to see, for a meeting. So just took a sample meeting file and then I uploaded and I ran it and I provided just let's say file path. So this was the default, I had it where I ran it on a local folder and just to show this was the transcript that it generated. So this is pretty, I would say, a standard assembly AI based run. It'll provide all of the details. So this is what I did earlier and this was straightforward. Now I want to test the other part, which is the agent running aspect. So with you, how does the agent work? Let's see what is the prompt. If you want to maybe explain what the instructions are and how it is going to use the other component, the file manipulation component.
All right, so the prompt is focused on instructing the agent to read the transcript bit by bit. And at first, you have the option to try to figure out who is who. On the original diarization, it just says a speaker A, speaker B, speaker C, but it gets some phrases and talks to the user and try to get you to identify who's actually talking. It worked decently well. I was actually surprised by this, but I believe we can just skip that part since we don't know what happened on the meeting we're transcribing.
Mhm.
But as far as the rest goes, the instructions are go around doing different passes, as you can see, pass 2, pass 4, etc. At each pass, it's going to extract a different type of information, and it goes over until it finishes and generate a final markdown file, which you can then paste into Google Docs or something and have a full meeting notes with the styling and everything.
Oh wow, okay. No, that's pretty cool. And I'm wondering, is there a tool that you use, Felipe? Because sometimes I just go to ChatGPT or Claude and just ask like, help me write this prompt, right? Is there some tips you have for writing a detailed prompt like this?
Yes, I do. As for this one specifically, for you who does know, GPT 4.1 have specific ways of prompting. There's a like a 40-page something documentation from OpenAI about how to prompt GPT 4.1, and I just got all of that context and gave it to a reasoning model and got it to write it for me. That
Okay.
was easy as that.
Okay, nice. So as long as we can take that document and then ask any model to pretty much just help us write the prompt, we can at least expect something similar, right? I mean, we might have to iterate a few times.
Definitely.
Okay, cool. All right, so this is great. Now I've got the path to the folder here. So this is the workspace folder, and I want to get started. I believe I might have just tested it with saying to read the file, and it actually read the file. But actually, let's get the main the power of it working and test that. Philippi, what should we ask, and is it just open ended? We can ask anything about the meeting, or how would you suggest?
Well, I would suggest it to read the transcription file, skip the diarization process, and start running the passes and generate the meeting notes.
Now, of course, for folks who have used Langflow before, you know that the agent uses different tools, and you can see exactly what is it using, and then once it uses, it gathers some info from that. So it used the tool, it gathered some info, now it is providing us based on our request. So this is quite amazing. I mean, that I think it was like 30 minutes meeting, which yeah, it just did in probably 5 seconds or so, where it just read everything and then, providing us all the info. Wow. Okay, that was quite powerful. Nice. And does this generate the markdown file, or do we ask for it to generate one?
I think it's gonna do it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, have you increased the amount of maximum runs it can run?
I probably might have missed that. Would
You
that be?
can check on the agent configuration, so it's actually a great opportunity to show the folks about that.
Mm-hmm.
There's an advanced feature, you can scroll down,
Mm-hmm.
and there's where is it? Keep going. Max iterations. There we go.
Okay.
Oh, it's already 100.
Okay.
So that basically controls the amount of maximum iterations a model can go as an agent. And like I said before, the GPT-4.1 really likes to loop upon itself. So if you keep that limiter low, it's not gonna do much.
Mm-hmm. I see. So you're saying this can go up to 100 like iterations of using different tools and coming back with response and kind of doing, is that what it means?
That's exactly what it means.
Wow.
I
Well,
have run tests with up to 300
no
iterations.
way.
Yeah, it's really fun to play with that model.
Okay, wow, it is actually running
And that
in
wasn't Langflow.
oh, okay, wow. Amazing. No, this is actually quite fun. Yeah, I mean, especially with these latest models, the amount of work they can do, and just, as long as you provide the right tools and the right prompt, they can just keep going and going and going. So yeah, it seems like it's running in the background. So let's let it run for a little bit. And this is for I believe 4.1 and with Claude 4, right? Would you say those two models are capable of a lot of iterations and give good results, or are there some more in that?
In terms of agentic behavior, the models that are going to be able to do that are the new Claude 4 models, the GPT-4.1, and the old family is also able to use tools mid-run, which is actually powerful because it allows the model to reason, then use tools, then reason again, then continue to do so. And those are the ones that are doing the best right now.
I see. Nice. Okay. So yeah, we got something here. So what are we looking at?
Well, actually, it just finished the first pass,
Uh-huh.
and it's asking for the second one. I think that's the one we want to skip, right?
Okay. All right, let's do that. So wow, it did a lot of calls. Okay, that's amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so it did
Yeah, you can tell it to skip to pass 3.
skip to past 3.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's do that. So it's going to that one, relationship context extraction. Okay, the speaker identification was the part to skip back. This is amazing.
That's another thing that's interesting about that model is like, although you did tell it to skip the diarization part, is to ask if we wanted to do it anyway because it was on the system prompt to ask the user about it. So it's really
Ah,
strong at following instructions.
okay, nice. Let's see, where is it right now? So I believe it ran. Okay.
You can now ask it to run the next steps autonomously.
Wow. Yeah, it just feels like we're getting closer to AGI now.
Well, some say 27 is right around the corner.
Oh, wow. All right. So we'll let it run for a little bit. All right. So the progress here is we have, well, this is quite detailed to begin with. And now it is gonna, oh, okay. So it marked it as to be filled. And it's just gonna fill these.
Mhm.
Okay, I see. Wow. Nice. And let me just see if we can. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Actually, did it complete the run? All right. Do we ask it to proceed?
Proceed, finish all the steps, try to convince it to do it all at once. It's crazy how it can like do it so fast.
Oh, this is pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, the assumption here is because we took a longer meeting and it is a lot of lines of the text, right? So it's reading through that. If it is a shorter meeting or probably lesser lines of the text, then it runs even faster. But
Hmm.
again, the prompt is detailed to follow so many different steps. Nice. So, Felipe, while this is happening, what are some of the latest things in the Langflow latest, let's say the version that we're looking at? Because I see this used to be as input and output. Now this looks a bit different. It has IO things over here. It looks a bit different. Maybe a quick overview of what all changed.
Well, those are most are like reorganizing the sections like the IO, etc. The logic components have been getting a lot of attention lately. The loop has been remade, and soon the listen and notify components are going to be reactivated again. It's on the QA right now, and that provides a new functionality that helps you loop and transfer data from one part of the flow to the other. That's
Oh,
what
okay.
we call it the Wi-Fi components, because you can send that over without actually connecting any edge.
Mm-hmm.
There have been some refactoring on the processing side. There are new components as well. The run flow is not working properly. Like you can plug it into an agent as a tool, for instance, and get it to run any flow
Mm-hmm.
within your workspace. That's really useful.
Wow. Okay, nice. Yeah, this is amazing. We made some content around some of these as well, and also community. If you all have any questions, feel free to reach out. Actually, look at that.
Oh, that's the replacement tool. See if that pops up on Cursor.
Oh, whoops. Oh yeah, look at that. Wow. So it
Oh,
is updating
oh,
in
we
real
finally
time.
got it.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So it is updating the file. We can see that here in Langflow Playground, where it's using all the different tools to update. And then also it gave us the overview here in the playground as well. So this is the markdown format. I'll probably let it just run a little bit. Okay,
There you
so
go.
the meeting node markdown file is completed. Awesome. Yeah. I mean, previously I had to maybe run this, take the text, and then maybe just, add it somewhere else. And then if I had to update, then keep asking and update the test. So now all of that is happening with just one component, which is the file manipulation component, where it can work with for basically just any file within a folder, update it, edit, read, whatever it needs to do, and pretty much working like a cursor based agent. So that is quite powerful, and yeah, I mean, it got everything. It read initially, added some info, added placeholders, then changed. So this is amazing. Awesome, Philippine. That brings to our exciting session now, the exciting part of the session, which
Yeah,
is the cursor itself. Now, this is something quite amazing where one could just run a Langflow like cursor. So it creates files, it changes files, manipulates, and it's using just the setup here. It's not a whole lot different from what I understood. Felipe, maybe if you want to walk us through what's happening. I see the file manipulation, so my feel is that's going to be crucial here, and then a few other helpers. So, what are we looking at here?
precisely. Yeah, the file manipulation is the star here. Like without it, the whole writing files and manipulating wouldn't be possible. But we do have a few other components. Some of them are experimental. We have the Git operations that allow the model to manage the repo and be able to generate comments and etc. And there's the important one, which is the shell session, which allows the model to run the commands and test the code and see if it's working rather than just writing. So
Hmm.
we needed a little bit more gasoline in there to get it closer to cruise.
Awesome. And some of these, you mentioned these are experimental at this stage. If one were to build something, probably they could use, Claude or something along those lines, prompt it to build a custom component and then build the component code.
Correct. And it's quite easy. And we're allowed to share them on the lab section on the Langflow's Discord.
Hmm.
If you're interested in play around with those experimental components, stay tuned. You can find them on the lab section.
Awesome. Awesome. So we got these together. We added the Tavily search just to help out with the search and get results in an LLM friendly format. We also have the URL component here, and I see that it also has the depth parameter to see how deep in a website or a link it can go. I see that there are actions available, fetch content, and as message. So that's good. And we have a few agents here. So just kind of maybe walking through with the where would you suggest we start from?
Top one is the
Top one.
planner. So the idea here is to have multiple agents breaking down the whole process of developing and publishing software. The first one is the planner. So you're gonna talk to it and get it to build the actual building plan with you. And as soon as you approve it, you can go to the next agent, which is the coder, and then all the code is gonna be a generator, etc. And as for the last one, it's gonna run everything and review, and that's what the reviewer does.
Awesome. All right. So pretty much having these three agents where one plans and then there is the coder and then the review. We have a working version of something like Cursor and Windsurf. So how about we test it with a real world use case, Philippine? I'm thinking maybe we can ask a SaaS landing page. What do you think?
Let's give it a go.
Awesome. So I am actually interested. There is a repo where there are a few different templates. So I'm going to pull that up here. And this is page UI. It has some information. We are pretty much just going to take the README from this repo and then see if our agent can first learn from it. And then based on that, it can build something. Even if not, we can ask simple. So many times I kind of basically decide either I go with a template or not with a template, something from scratch. So we can give it a shot. How about we give a little difficult task here to first read through the repo, then understand, and also build from it. If we find out that, okay, that's too much, maybe we can just give it simple step, build a SaaS platform. So I am going to provide the info. Would you suggest we provide in the playground, Felipe, or
Yeah, yeah. Let's give it a the playground. Since we do have the URL tool in there, we can give it some depth and actually use the documentation
oh yeah, sure.
link.
That's actually
I
even better.
think that's gonna be better. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. So I am going to take this. Do we increase the depth
We
of
definitely increase the depth. Yeah, the URL.
maybe 3 is
3
good?
is good, I think. See what happens.
All right, let's see. All right, so I'm asking it to help build a SaaS landing page using this template as a starting point. And basically, the SaaS helps users write SEO optimize articles using AI. Would
Instruction for the the
okay,
4.1 is really literal. The more reinforcing, the better. Use the URL tool.
okay, nice. All right, so we are saying please use this URL tool to read from the docs for the boilerplate. Basically, this is going to help force the agent to use the tool and in case if it decides not to use so. All right, would that be something to get started with? What do you think, Philippine?
I
Awesome.
think we're
All
good.
right, let's get started then. Okay, that is good understanding. Those are pretty good questions actually. Do we need some sort of backend? What do you think? Should we just go
Just
with?
tell it to mock the backend data and focus on the front end.
All right, that sounds good. SaaS branding, I'm thinking just make it for a, or maybe. So we're basically answering the questions that it asks. We're saying to use some mock data for the backend, focus on the front end, and also just maybe generic branding for blog AI. Let's see what it does. Oh, nice. I love that. So it comes back with a plan and what it is going to be doing and then plan for next action. All right, that looks good to me. What do you think, Felipe? Do we provide some instruction? Well, I guess it is fetching and kind of going from there.
Yeah, just let it do its thing. And
Oh,
meanwhile, you
nice.
can check out the plan file. It's already on Cursor.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Hey, there you go.
Awesome. So
So that's
it's
how it managed the state between the agents. Is like just a simple implementation to demonstrate how state management work between agents.
uh nice. Now this is amazing. So the power of this, this whole thing, where do you think so? If one were to build, a variation of this, instead of having all these agents, maybe test out something else, just kind of, if they were to modify, would that be just change the agent prompt and that should be fine? Do they need to add something? Because my understanding is the file manipulation tool is going to be available in the next version, or it is probably available, so people can just bring that and use it with agent, right? So they can just modify the prompt and the number of agents and the tools attached, and that should work, right?
That's correct. And like the power of using this is basically the ability to customize to your own needs and with your own tools. Creating very specialized agents will get the job done faster, basically.
I see. Awesome. Let's see where it is right now. No way. It's initializing the Git repo and then wow.
Go ahead.
Wow, is it waiting on ours? Okay, all right.
It is waiting items.
Okay, go. Oh, this is pretty nice. Just saying what the plan is and the action what it's gonna do now. And then from there it's gonna go on to what are the next steps. Wow, look at that. So it already built all the directories, and now it got the initial files to get started with the repo.
And that's just the planner, or those just placeholders. And the coder is actually gonna pick up off the desk and start
Ah,
doing the
I
heavy
see.
lifting.
So far it's just the guy on top, this guy here. Okay. Oh, I see it. So these are basically just planners, some placeholder things here. When the coder comes in, it's gonna start coding and writing all the files necessary. Nice. Ah, there we go. I think the first one is completed. Fully
Handoff
planned, ready.
complete.
Wow.
Let's send it to coder. Now I
Yeah.
need to swipe the chat input edge into the coder.
Ah, I see. All right. Since the chat input was initially to the agent, we're gonna move it to the next step here,
Yep.
chatting with that guy. And this is quite nice, actually. It's quite flexible. We can move the playground chat to any of our agents that we have. Okay, so that is completed. We're gonna say, do we just say get started?
Yeah, that should be enough.
Or I'm just gonna say just
And as for the chat input, it's actually technically possible to make that switching happen automatically, but
okay.
that will make the flow a little bit more complex than that, etc. And we wanted to show something simple.
Ah, I see. Okay, no, that makes sense. All right, so I'm just gonna get started here. All right, so this is the coder agent now. It first read these states, so that's pretty good. So it needs to first know what happened previously, and now it is replacing different parts of that file and what it is going to be working on. So actually, let's see what's happening here. So I think it just made some changes here. Okay, so it's also looking at some of its instructions and saying, what it can do and what it cannot do.
I was actually curious how it would initialize the next template.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I wonder if it does creates all the
I
files.
wonder if it just, yeah,
All right, so what did it do? Let's see. I do see files in all of these.
see fast, but it could just wrote all of it.
Okay, maybe I think it might have just created all the files. Huh? Let's see. Is now fully set up, and all directories and placeholder files are created. Configuration options committed to Git. The project state and workflow have been updated for review. Wow. Okay. Should we try it?
You should actually proceed with implementation.
Oh, all right. So proceed with implementation. Did it update this state? Let's see what's going on here.
On the top of the file coding. Start a new chat. It's
Oh
probably
yeah,
picking up memories from the previous one. Oh
sure.
yeah, it's color. That's correct. Just ask it to continue the implementation.
It initially generated a page, and I just wanted to mimic another page. So I gave it a screenshot saying, hey, look, use this as styling. And based on that built. So it went ahead. And then look at that. It did the work, and look at that. We've got a working landing page which has the initial hero section, the video similar to the screenshot I gave, some testimonials, and then pricing. So, wow, this is pretty good. I love it. Wow. Yeah. I mean, just kind of comparing to
Well,
the initial screenshot, right? So it took some of the styling as well, and then, yeah, got it to where we can start working from here. This is amazing.
yeah, like for effort trying, that's quite a lot.
Definitely.
If you plan, I think a lot more can be made.
I totally agree. Yeah. It's just, I guess if you have something in mind, just keep chatting. Similar to any coding agent, right? Where you initially provide some info, then it goes ahead, builds the template repo or, just the starter place. And then from that point, you can keep adding, give prompts. And then based on that, now it's building. This is absolutely fascinating. So you have pretty much now cursor within Langflow. Now, again, we kind of cheated. We opened our project in cursor just to see. Again, you could have opened in any editor, right? IDE. So as you can see, we did not add anything here, nothing in the project. Everything was from the Langflow agent, which we prompted and asked to make changes. So this is fascinating. Definitely, I'm super excited to see what people are gonna use and what apps they're gonna build and what sort of usage from community as well as contribution. I'm super excited for that. So this is mind-blowing stuff, Philip. Really appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much. I really had so much fun making it. I hope you guys will explore those techniques and start building. And remember, the prompt is really important. Create something highly customized on upon whatever you're building, and it's gonna do great.
Awesome. Yeah. And I think one thing we did not do yet, which is to let the reviewer run. So right now we see that in this state file, there is a place where it says what is the current workflow state. So it is reviewer's turn. What we can do in theory is we can chat with the reviewer agent. So pretty much move this guy from here to connecting here and then just asking in our playground to review and make changes or whatever, right? So it's gonna review and let us know how the code is. But that is a good starting point for everyone who is watching this to test the flow out, test the file manipulation component, which is the core here, as well as some of these agents will do our best to provide some form of workflows for you to start from. Of course, one could build games, one could try some other type of web apps or so. If you are into mobile development, you could try that as well. So this is a starting point. And maybe if you have questions that, why we need to use this particular setup, the beauty of this is there are multiple tools available here within Langflow that you can utilize as well. If you have your own RAG-based flow setup, you could add that and ask agent to learn from my company just all of the documentation or the brand voice, and based on that make changes, write some pages based on that brand voice or so. So there are many things that you can utilize from the built-in components and flows within Langflow. Super exciting, Felipe. Thank you so much again for building this and for the contribution to the Langflow repo. And these components, from what I understood, are going to be available soon. So this is something fun that everyone can experiment with.